The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
Elliott White Springs was the son of Fort Mill textile magnate Leroy Springs. Young Elliott progressed through Culver Military Academy, Princeton University, and soon found himself buzzing over France in an open cockpit fighting Germans during World War I. By the end of the war, he was the highly decorated 5th-ranked U.S. World War I flying ace. Elliott had a tempestuous relationship with his father, which served to motivate him toward success on his own terms.
I don't know if he wanted to please his father or prove to his father that he could be successful. But I think that was part of what drove him.
After the war, Springs authored a best-selling memoir based on the letters of a fallen comrade, Warbirds, Diary of an Unknown Aviator. He spent the 1920s in New York City writing stories for the posh literary magazines of the Jazz Age. He occasionally barnstormed down south, flying under bridges and so forth. But Leroy Springs finally convinced his son to come home and learn the textile business. Unfortunately, the Depression was in full swing by the time Elliott took the reins of the company from his father. Springs Mills had a new boss, with lots of challenges to face.
He was probably one of the most intelligent men around. He also had a very creative mind and a very mechanical mind. He had more energy than I can imagine, that's for sure. And he was also a very stubborn man.
Elliott continued to make and store cloth during the 1930s. It all paid off when World War II was declared, and there was suddenly a huge demand for his product. Springs served with the Army Air Corps and was promoted to lieutenant colonel. When the war ended, Colonel Springs made the decision to manufacture finished goods. He built a huge bleachery in Lancaster to make sheets and pillowcases, and established a selling house in New York. But the bombshell in the colonel's post-war strategy was the style of advertising he chose to present Springmaid sheets to the country.
Ad number 1 will be a picture of a girl with the wind blowing her skirts. The copy will read, "During the war, the Springs cotton mills developed a special cotton fabric which was woven to be water repellent and wind resistant. This fabric is now available to the front support and rear guard business, and if you want protection from a sudden draft on a windy corner, look for the Springmaid label on the bottom of your trademark." Number 2 will be a picture of a girl warming the seat of her pants. During the war, the Springs cotton mills was called upon to develop a light cotton fabric to be impregnated and made flame resistant. It is now known as Springmaid Kerper and is available to the false bottom and bust bucket business. Number 3 will show our young lady at a party, and she is being pinched surreptitiously by a gentleman behind her.
The risque ad campaign was unlike anything seen before or since, and proved to be very controversial and very successful. Whether they were saying something good or bad, everyone was talking about Springmaid sheets.
This is a letter of raging protest against the ad you put out about the Indian and the girl in the hammock. I had not even read the script, but had seen the picture, so when my son in the 2nd grade wanted a picture of Indians to take his teacher on the day they were having an Indian program, my husband cut that one out and sent it with a smart aleck message to the teacher. I will see that my family and my many close friends refrain from purchasing anything which bears the Springmaid name. I have never been so humiliated in my life.
Springs Mills was breaking records each year selling sheets, pillowcases, and apparel fabrics. Colonel Springs combined his love for his employees with his playful imagination, sponsoring Miss Springmaid competitions, which resulted in luxurious trips to New York City for the winners. His innovative magazine advertisements continued well into the 50s, involving satire, puns, and double entendres, and featuring celebrities such as Gypsy Rose Lee. When he died in 1959, the controversial ads ceased.
Neither 10,000 words nor 10 times that number could tell the full story of Colonel Elliott Springs. He was everything he wanted to be and successful in everything he tried.
I can't say the history of the world was altered by the Springmaid advertising campaign, but I can say that I think he contributed in significant ways to a transformation of sensibility that was taking place in that era. And I think he himself is, in many respects, one of the most interesting, complicated, and to some extent tormented members of his generation.
With the passing of Colonel Springs, Springs Mills entered a new era and continued to prosper for decades.